Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Pisces March 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, Clairvoyant. Well, I have a very interesting deck for you this month. It's called, I think it's called something to do with a star. As you know, I just normally get rid of boxes and books and papers and things like that and just tie the decks up with string. Actually, I found, it might just be a personal thing, that tarot decks, for me anyway, work, I think, better with me if the deck has been gifted to me, rather than if I've gone out and acquired it. But I think that this might just be a personal thing, in fact, probably is just a personal thing, I think. But this deck has a lot of very good imagery in it, and I might point out one or two things with my pen. I won't point out anything. You'll see in it a lot more than I point out, but I won't go through everything that I see because we'll be here forever. And you know, of course, that I provide clairvoyant readings to people all over the world via FaceTime and Skype, and lots and lots and lots of people have done it through this channel. And the readings go for about an hour and a half. Now, I charge for those. The details, if you're interested or curious, are in the description at the end of the video. Now, there is another thing that I provide as well, and hundreds of people have taken advantage of it through this channel, and it is the gift of healing. And it is provided for free. It takes about 45 minutes, sometimes a bit longer. It's provided for free because, and I've been doing it for over 4 decades, I can't get anything in return for it. So there's no obligation, there's no fee, there's no catch, nothing will be sold or recommended. You're not going to get bombarded with emails, for example, from me or anybody else. The healing comes through me and not from me. Now, it's provided for free because I know that's what I have to do. And so I leave that with you. All I say is that hundreds of people have taken advantage of it through this channel. You might just be at your wit's end with something. You could have an emotional issue. You could be at the end of your tether. There could be things going on physically. There could be things doing with relationships at work. Look, it's a blank sheet of paper. And it's a method, a vehicle through which the beloved extends its compassion, its relief, and its healing to us. There are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, so you get to enjoy the reading direct. Now, show me the magic. Let's take 5. That's all we're going to need. King of Pentacles. What's in here? 5 of Cups. What's this? The Chariot. Damn good card, that Chariot. What? Prince of Swords. That might be from down in here somewhere. No looking. Of course not. Let's go here. It's a Knight of Swords. Well, what a month for you. Now, why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll also bring the camera around so everybody else can see. We'll have a look at the interesting imagery on there. I will, as I say, point out a couple of things, but you'll see a lot more in it than I'll point out, given our time constraints. And together we'll check it out while the cosmic energies swirl, and I'll do the reading for you. A lot of Capricorn and Aquarius around you this month. Also Virgo and Leo I can see, and a lot of Pisces in this card as well here. This is calling out for some reason to be spoken of. Let's have a look at this. This has got a lot to say, I think. I don't know why that is. We can have a look at the imagery here. Well, sometimes a bit gloomy. Now look at these cups. Well, something didn't work out perhaps. But love springs eternal, relationship, and here is the rainbow connecting heaven and earth, but the sun is rising. Whatever else might be going on in your mind now, just placed here with these other cards around it. This is Mars ruling the first decan of Scorpio. Now, ordinarily, we would expect a really great result with that because Scorpio is the ruler of Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. I don't think Pluto's the ruler of Scorpio at all. But look at this. In the numerology, the number 5 here, I have a mystical association with the planet of Mars. I also get around it unrest and instability. So there's Mars in the number of 5 and Mars also coming into Scorpio. Mars, of course, that fiery planet. Scorpio, like you, water, your sister water sign. And what happens is that this double Mars is kind of bringing so much heat that it seems to evaporate the waters or the emotions of Scorpio. The fire has evaporated that water. It may well be, therefore, that there are some unfulfilled expectations, instability, so a lot of sense of balance, of problematic relationships, maybe some unexpected disturbances. I think maybe your expectations about someone or something were too big, and that maybe some unexpected event, perhaps even only just a thoughtless reaction, has now ruined them abruptly. And the aggressively destructive energy of Mars coming into the scene, well, I think that they have probably been smouldering beneath the surface for a long time, and that you have overlooked them, perhaps because you didn't want to admit to their existence. You ignored the warnings of your inner voice. But now maybe you have to face these sobering facts and look them in the eye. Now, it is possible, I think, here that something is not going to be working out as expected. But this is saying also with this sun here, not to wallow around in self-pity and regret, because new, these butterflies and everything, and better experiences are in store. And in fact, this is reflected, if I'm not mistaken, by this energy here. Now, it's possible at times like this that you can get quite disillusioned with your life and your future. You might have been disappointed by someone else's actions. These feelings can sometimes give rise to fear of taking another risk or making an effort in the future, or hiding away in some place where you can't be disappointed again. And in the area of expectations, do you know, I have a friend of mine, a lady friend of mine, who says that she's fallen in love more times than she cares to remember. But it's kind of never worked out for her, because what she did was that she fell in love with the potential that the man had, rather than who the man actually was. And so she became disappointed when the man did not rise up to what she saw as being his potential. And so in a sense that she sowed the seeds of her own disappointment, because men are what they are. And with the result of that is that she said to me that she feels very now afraid to go and offer her heart again to anybody. But of course, to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart can get wrung and possibly broken. And if you want to make sure of keeping it intact, then you can't give it to anybody, not even an animal. Rather, you need to wrap it carefully around with hobbies and little luxuries, going to the spa and avoiding all entanglements. You need to lock it up safe in the casket or the coffin of your selfishness. But in that coffin, safe, dark, motionless, airless, your heart will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable, because to love is to be vulnerable. It's also the case that very often we can find ourselves in a pattern of being attracted to people who were somehow unavailable. And then you realize that you're protecting yourself because you equate the idea of connection and love maybe with trauma and death. The other thing to bear in mind in this context is that, really few of us have a healthy sense of boundaries. We either have very rigid boundaries in that nobody is ever going to get close to me, or we have really weak boundaries. I will be anything anyone wants me to be. Well, rigid boundaries lead to distance and isolation, don't they? And weak boundaries to over-dependency and I hope it's not with you, but sometimes to abuse. Well, the right thing is to develop flexible boundaries, boundaries which can vary depending on the circumstances. One thing is for sure, and this is very common for Pisces, is that if you live your life to please everyone else, you will continue to feel frustrated and powerless. This is because what others want may not be good for you. You're not being mean when you say no to unreasonable demands, or when you express your ideas or your feelings and opinions, even if they're different to what other people want. And sometimes we can see that, well, disappointment can definitely come about as a result of finding out that people have been lying to you. And you must understand that his lying doesn't depend on who you are or what you do. His lying is not your fault. Lying is his choice and his problem. And if he makes that choice with you, well, just understand he's going to make it with any other woman that he's with. That doesn't mean that you're an angel, of course, or that he's the devil. It does mean that if he doesn't like certain things about you, that he's got a lot of ways to address them besides lying. If there are sexual problems between you, there are many resources which are available to you. Nothing can change until you hold him responsible and accountable for lying and stop blaming yourself. Do you know that the lies that you tell yourself to keep from seeing the truth about your lovers don't feel like lies, do they? They feel comfortable, familiar, and true. And you can repeat them like a prayer and cling to them like security blankets, hoping to calm yourself and regain your sense that the world works the way you believe it ought to. Self-lies are false friends you look to for comfort and protection. For a short time, they may make you feel better, but you can only keep the truth at bay for so long. Your self-lies can't wipe out his lies. And as you'll see, the longer you try to pretend that they can, the more you deepen the hurt. But I don't need to tell you this, I think, because this is saying it to you, that to be human is to be heart-led and valiantly vulnerable, lion-hearted and confident in what can be offered to you and what you can give in return. Insecurity is something to absorb in order to progress. Much of the adventure in life is the not knowing of what is next. And it does take a distinct bravery on your behalf to get to a place where you are willing to be at ease with the mystery of what is to come. And I think the only other thing that this particularly wants to say here is that if your heart has been broken, Look, you can only heal a broken heart through allowing it to open again. A closed heart remains a wounded heart. Many battles may be lost, but you are not broken, and you are not your wounds. But you get over this disappointment because this is a turning point for you, actually, Things are going to turn around much better for you. Here is this magnificent Chariot card here. Well, the usual sorts of things. I think I'm not going to point anything out except to say that this represents male energy, this represents female energy, and there's a whole lot of other things going on, but time prevents us from doing that, really. Now, I refer to this as the child of the power of the waters, the lord of the triumph of light. Lot of Cancer all around here. This is a new beginning for you and a change for the good. There's a triumph in the face of adversity, and you overcome problems with success. And you have this success with little or no support to anybody else. You're now looking to see where you're moving in the future here. This driver here seems to be, these horses don't look like they're moving, they look like they're waiting to move. So this is someone that is sitting still and examining all the possible consequences out there in the environment before deciding which direction to move in, before daring to set this chariot in motion on a new beginning. Because once this driver has chosen to start, there will be no turning back, and nothing is going to be able to slow down your journey. Now, this can point to an actual journey, or to the start of some new phase, a new relationship, a new love, a deepening of an existing love. You can refer to a change of a living situation, job responsibilities. I don't think anything needs to be decided hastily at the moment, although you do just throw everything overboard in the way that you move forward. You quickly come to the direction that you want to head in, and then you just take off, because once all the necessary groundwork has been done, this new start is going to be charging ahead for you, and everything points to favorable developments. Here is victory over adversity. I think you come through a difficult period. You now have the courage to act. It's all very good to have the intention to act, but you also need that courage to act. There is success over previous negative patterns. I think there's something of a focus on self-discipline here. I do get the feeling of recuperation, renewal, and healing here. And you're moving forward now to higher goals. You're moving forward now to things that are going to fill your heart and life. This is, I feel, particularly saying to you that whatever your storybook carries within its pages, own it with love, courage, and compassion. Remember that you can change your story at any time. Nothing is fixed, and you have free will. You can change directions. Now, you should not seek to love someone else's journey more than you love your own. The swords of comparison are sharp and can cut your soul. We're all designed uniquely, with our original paths to walk through. And you lose momentum and your natural impulses for creativity and progression when you focus your energy on other people. Now, this is also saying to you that you will come to the understanding that perfection is an illusion, and we all make mistakes. You must allow yourself the freedom to make mistakes and bad judgments, and become wiser as a result. You're not meant to live in a bubble within the confines of a box. or just beneath the shell of the crab here. So this means that all errors that we might make from time to time, and everybody does, they are all part of experience, and you strengthen yourself through it all and find your own peace in forgiving yourself. There is a transformation underway with you now. Now, this is also saying that don't be afraid of the directions that your life is moving forward or who you are becoming, because transformation may not always look like a kind place. It can look chaotic, and you might see it sometimes as a source of inner conflict because it's not a safe place. But it is a place of growth, a place of rebirth where you can restart and realign with who you are. You can learn so much from the caterpillar that grows its butterfly wings in the ache and darkness of its own cocoon and is reborn beautiful and free with wings. This is really the true meaning and profoundness of the transformation that's underway for you now. It's where the truest part of you can emerge, and you will transition into the most intuitive, vibrant, and beautiful painting of yourself. And of course, you can go over things again. Look, sometimes the things that you do the second time around are better and hold more value because you take the time to reflect and to review them, which is what this person is doing here. And then you can revive them through a higher love which is coming to you from the stars up here. Don't be afraid to try again and do over with greater wisdom, a fresh set of eyes, and a renewed hope. Life isn't a straight line. The shortest distance between where you are and happiness is not a straight line of the first time. It's the road that is paved with failure, mistakes, and seemingly wrong turns that provide you with character, emotional grit, and inner muscle to find new perspectives. Do you know the only expiry date on your dreams, intentions, or goals? The only expiry date is the one that you allow to soak into your own soul. And sometimes, I think as you have been traveling on the road to date, you might find that the road to date has been difficult, but this is reminding you that difficult roads will lead you to beautiful destinations. Struggle is a gift. You know that God only gives struggles to its favorite children. Well, you really do take off, don't you? Because I'm looking at this here, and this is, in addition to a lot of Capricorn and Aquarius around here, this is dripping with Pisces all over it. So this is definitely you for this month. And you come out of the clouds into clarity, and you have victory over your moods. There's a sort of a rebellion with you. You may come across as being, in some respects, interestingly, quite stern and revengeful. Now you'll be stern and revengeful, firm and aggressive, skilled in the ways of the world, I think. Your logic might be quite destructive at times because you are going to be firm and aggressive, but you've got a great degree of practical wisdom and subtlety with you. You'll be very good at sorting out controversies with other people. And I'll tell you what, you are going to destroy some holy altars around you. You will turn things over. People are going to look at you and say, in what actually possessed the person to do this? And you'll be following your own desire rather than serving other people. And the direction that you head, the things that you choose to do, other people are going to think you're mad, but in time it will come clear that you have chosen right. and you'll gain your reward. Now, relates to whether you're following your heart, following a lifestyle, maybe becoming an entrepreneur, or even starting your own business. Now, your thoughts and vision may at times destroy some holy altars, but just don't let yourself be buried by the flying debris. Don't allow your moods to take hold of yourself. Remain true to your real ideas and say to yourself, my rebellion is positive, constructive, and creative. Now, you're going to be particularly brainy and smart as well, I've got to say. Alive with new ideas coming to you one after the other. A lot of intuition with you, a lot of creative thinking, and as is replicating this, cutting through old entanglements and becoming free of limited ideas and models. You'd be very clever. You could be, in addition to this, quite domineering here. You may be dominating a situation or a process. Now, when the creative process with you works, it works really well. But what this is saying is that you need to make sure that you make tangible the things that you do. That is to say that you are going to have one good idea after another. What you must do is, rather than jump from one good idea to the next good idea to the next good idea on the basis that any of them are just as good as each other, it's important to take one of those good ideas and drill down into it and turn it into something finished, practical, useful, and then move on. This is going to bring you a lot of success. I think that people are going to find it very hard to keep up with you at this time, and it may well be that your thinking is just way ahead of its time in a number of areas. So slow down and analyze your thoughts and see if something practical can be gained from them. Free yourself now from whatever limits your mind and spirit, and be sure that you express your ideas and plans in ways that other people will understand, and accept their opinions humbly, if that's at all possible to do. As I say, your thinking just might well be ahead of its time, but you can adjust things to make your vision workable in the present without sacrificing anything. Now, what beliefs, feelings, or relationships or programmed ideas do you allow to limit you? Sometimes people are part of your history and not part of your destiny. Remember that and say, my creative possibilities, they have no limits, but they do need to be grounded. Now, this final card, I actually think it might well be somebody who is, that you know of. I don't think it's you. It's something that you know of. You get a lot of Virgo, a lot of Leo around here, but it's not necessarily related to this. This is someone who is very complex, really. Now, at best, they can be romantic and imaginative, but they have just an overbearing ambition, just desire for everything. They can also be quite superstitious. And funnily enough, they can waste time in just idle dreaming is what I get. They can appear to you to be dull, heavy, and just preoccupied with just material things. They're patient and they're able to get things done, but they're really not a rocket scientist, if you know what I do. And the success that they do have is due to instinct and just imitating the way things happen in nature, or just copying what other people do. I have to say that this is probably also someone who's not all that capable of looking out into the future with any foresight, even in relation to their own affairs. And very often they don't take much of an interest in anything outside of themselves. They can be surly and jealous of what they instinctively realize is the more developed state of other people. But they don't have the courage or intelligence to better themselves. And they can very often meddle in petty matters, even if those things are likely to produce some good for them. But as for you, I can see, just to finish this, that you've got a lot ahead of you, a lot of tasks, a lot of work to do, and this is going to demand the use of all of your power. But if you make the effort, this harvest is going to reward you richly. And whenever things seem to be too much trouble for you, they're not. Just concentrate on the positive results of your actions for you and for other people. In a sense, your internal learning and growing process is the most important outcome. More important even than that by which you achieve, from which you achieve by your actions. But say this to yourself: with every task that comes my way comes also the energy needed to get things done. What a fantastic spread of cards for you. Made so much better for you being here. Extremely interesting artwork, wouldn't you say? Beautiful, I think. Now, unless I see you in the meantime, either for a clairvoyant reading or for healing, then I'll see you here again next month. And until then, though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.